Hi, I'm Dave Mars with Conservation Tips. Today we're going to talk about how to get the most BTUs out of the bucks that you spend on air conditioning. Now, of course, you probably unearthed your air conditioner from the wintertime. If you've covered it with a covering, with one of those kits or just something on top, make sure you take that off before you turn it on in the spring. Where the winter leaves can fall in here, so it's a pretty good idea to kind of keep them out. But as the air conditioner runs, pulls air in this way, blows the air out this way, so you might be blowing some leaves out and not have to worry about them too much inside there. The next thing you want to check are the size of the air conditioner. Of course, the fan blowing upward, pulls a lot of air through these coils to deliver the coolant, inside the home. But over time, and depending on what kind of trees you have around you, dust or what have you, when you're mowing the yard around here, these fins can get pretty well plugged up, and that's going to lower your efficiency. So you have to be kind of careful because the fins themselves are very thin metal and they're very soft. And you may have seen if this is a nice protected unit, it kind of armor to keep you from backing into it with your lawnmower or weed whacker. If you've got some of these fins that are bent, well, you might want to go ahead and get like a kitchen knife with a rounded tip, or you can actually get a tool called a fin straightener. It's a metal comb, basically, you can buy it from the heating and cooling company, and you can straighten these fins out so you get better airflow. Now, if you've noticed that you've got a lot of leaf debris packed in there, a lot of times dryers are real nearby the air conditioner because they're both in the same mechanical room, and that lint, of course, over time is going to back up and plug up your fins. A lot of times you'll find them on the back side, and so be sure you take a look back here too. A lot of times you can take a soft bristle brush like this, a paintbrush, or maybe something a little bit stiffer, and you can kind of work it in between here and get a lot of this debris out of here. If you've noticed that there's, say, in the lower area here, a lot of dust buildup, because it's dry around the air conditioner and that's been pulled in over the summer, that may take a little serious cleaning. Now, you might be able to just get a, kind of a biodegradable spray and hit those coils a little bit, kind of weten it up, something stiff in there, to kind of get this out of there and get the stuff a little. If you can clean it from the surface like this, that'd be great. But if you see that it's going in pretty deep, these fins can be pretty deep and get pretty well plugged up. You're probably going to have to hire a company to come and flush that out from the inside. Okay, moving on around the outside of the air conditioner, what else can you look at? Well, we want to make sure that our insulation around the refrigerant line is in good shape because we want to keep the refrigerant cold as it goes into the home. You can see it deteriorates over time, and then the sun will hit this, warm it up, and you'll lose some efficiency that way. Also, you want to check other pipes coming into the unit here. This one's getting a little old, a little rust, to make sure there's no potential holes there because we don't want to lose refrigerant because that's going to, of course, really lower your efficiency. Now, if you've got your unit nice and level, that's ideal because there's a compressor in here that has an oil bath in it. You want that oil bath to stay level. If it goes a little bit kilter, then it's not going to lubricate effectively. So you can prop the air conditioner up somewhat. You can get a little bit of give out here, so get it level. As it has not gotten level, you might get a vibration right at this juncture here, and that can cause little holes, that can cause refrigerant leaks. Now, if you've gone to the trouble to cover the air conditioner totally with one of those air conditioner covers, you may have invited some, ants to come in and colonize the switching gears in here, or have mice. We've had mice move in and create nests, and the problem with mice is that they love to chew those wires, and you'll try to get the air conditioner working and it won't work. So, kind of be mindful of that when you're getting ready to start this unit up. And then the next place to check out would be what's going on inside. An easy way to find out where the other part of the air conditioning apparatus is to follow the refrigerant line on in. And this is what the insulation looks like, which is in good shape. It comes around here, and this is the evaporative coil that you find above the furnace, generally speaking. It can be in a slant like this, it can be an upside down V, but it looks like the radiator in your car, similar to the fins we saw outside, where we have copper lines going through fins, and that's how the coolness is delivered to the home. Now, we also have here a drain. We'll make sure this drain is kept clear so it's not spilling water over here and down the sides of the furnace, inside the furnace, where it can cause great damage. So you want to see where your condensate line comes into the home, where it's draining. Make sure it's draining freely. It's backed up. Well, then algae loves to grow in here, and it'll block it up like a little dam in there. A lot of times you have to cut this and go through some different construction to take care of this. So again, you might want to call a company and deal with this. Now, as we go down through here's the furnace proper here. And then of course down below we have an updraft furnace, and here's the fan that delivers the air through the whole house. And depending on how well this has been maintained will kind of determine whether or not we've got any obstruction on the underside of that coil. Those fins are going to catch dust and debris, and we can't see that. If we pulled this off of here to look into it, the coil is blocked because we want all the air to go through it. So it's really kind of difficult to see. Hopefully the fan is clean like this one. You want to make sure that we can check the fins of the fan. Turn the furnace off where you do this, of course, power to it. And you can get a little bit of dust off of this fan, but this fan's been in about 15 years. That's normal for this kind of time span. So this has been kept fairly clean, so we can probably assume that the coil's pretty clean. Now, of course, it's a good time to go ahead and check the furnace filter. At the end of the winter, this one's not in too bad a shape, probably needs to be replaced. And you also want to make sure the filter fits real tightly in its opening. A lot of times, it's hard to find the right size filter. They may stick out a little bit. We'll try to correct that because we don't want any air to go around the unit, around the filter. Now, once you make sure that the filter is in here securely and there's no air going around it, you might want to consider going to a lighter weight filter in, say, the heart of summer, when you really want to get that cooling delivered to your house. A lot of times the filter can actually block low airflow, so get a lighter weight filter here for maximum airflow for the efficiency factor. Now, if we don't have enough refrigerant, if say there's been a leak and we turn the unit on, then how do we know if this is occurring? Well, a surefire way of doing it is that a lot of times you'll find a small 1/8 inch diameter hole drilled right above the A coil. And that's because a previous heating and cooling company has drilled that hole there to put in a simple probe thermometer, like a meat thermometer. You want to read about 55 degrees. 55 degrees above the coil is about maximum operating temperature. Now, if it's not doing that, if it's still kind of warm, you're going to have to ask a heating and cooling company to please find the leak. A lot of times they'll come and say, "Oh, my air conditioner fixed." And they go, "Okay." Put in a little refrigerant, write you a bill, and they're out of there. You've got to see if they can find the leak spot and fix the leak spot, because all of us are just going to be adding it every year and spewing it out, adding every year. It may suggest that you need a new air conditioner if they can't fix that. But it's very important for the efficiency of the unit. If it is low in refrigerant, another thing that can occur is that you can get ice on your coil in here, and it'll actually kind of start blocking the airflow. You'll kind of notice in that it's not cooling upstairs as it used to. It feels a little humid up there, and so and then when the air conditioner is off for a period of some time, you'll see all sorts of water coming out underneath the floor and what have you. That's because the ice is melting. That is another sure sign the refrigerant levels are not up to snuff. Now, we're all right here by the air conditioner. Also, you want to make sure this condensation line is flowing freely. What it does in the summertime, it takes out the humidity of the air and ends up draining down into this area here. Well, a lot of times they'll use this plastic pipe, and plastic pipe and algae are, they love each other. They grow really maximum, have fun. So you'll get a little dam in here, and it'll back up the water, and you'll see water coming out underneath the furnace. And you want to make sure that it's clear and running freely into the floor drain. Now, of course, one of the most important links of the air conditioning system is the thermostat. And there's old thermostats, newer thermostats, programmable thermostats. The idea is we want to have the temperature of the home set at one temperature so that the air conditioner sort of knows what to do. It has to dehumidify as well as cool. If you're opening doors and windows a lot and letting humidity in, it's going to have to work a lot harder. Moving it up and moving it down is not a strategy that works very well in the summertime because of the humidity levels. It works very well in the winter, but not in the summer. As you start to cool and humidify the home, you can probably start to raise that temperature up a little bit. And if you can, you're going to save 5% for every degree you can raise your thermostat during the summertime. Now, if this is all a little bit too much and you do want to call a heating and cooling company, what I would prescribe for you would be to try the air conditioner out early in the spring, or maybe mid-spring, to make sure the air conditioner is working the way you want it to. If you wait until the heart of summer to try to get a heating and cooling company over there, you're going to be standing in line. So get your work done early, get them there early, so you'll be happy.